St Helens or Warrington, something like that.
Because against Saints, he had 4 knock-ons in the first half. And
and he got hooked, didn't he?
Yeah.
Right, comes back. I think this is the first time I've recalled. I mean, I'm sure he'll have had minutes in, but what have you. But back in the limelight, away at Wigan, last game of the season, where you are realistically on the end of a thumping, but he weighs in with a try 101 metres and a couple of clean breaks. So good to see him back and firing and doing well on a rugby pitch.
Yeah, it was sad for me not to see Elwha or Morgan Esquire get a farewell appearance for the Catalans.
Pelissier leaving as well.
Pelissier is confirmed just going. Morgan Esquire is just suspected to be going. Plenty of places. Well, Hull KR. Well, he wants to be a starter. This is the problem. He wants to be a starter in a Super League hooker and wear the number 9 for some club. I think he's good enough to.
I certainly agree.
I think Catalan got maybe a bit fed up of the niggle. He brings a bit too much to the game. That's sort of the statement that came out kind of lent on that sort of the amount of passion he brings needs to be tempered, or that sort of element of it. But yeah,
we've just got sick of his shit.
So I would say Huddersfield we need a hooker, but they're looking at Tyler Randall, aren't they, from Newcastle? Hull KR will need a second hooker, but he doesn't want to be a second hooker because Bedebs' contract's running out, and might see him back at Catalan actually with this merry-go-round because he'll be on a much cheaper deal than Elwha would have been wanting. Salford potentially need a hooker. Logan Tompkins is good and Kenny's shown promise, but whether they think Elwha is an upgrade, they will look at it before. Logan Tompkins is one of the rumoured signings for Lee.
Well, we are talking about 2 teams that might not even be in Super League next season just now, so there's a lot of questions and not a lot of answers at that point. Fan reviews.
Wakefield could do with a hooker in my view. Scott Moore's there, but
yeah, no, I agree. That might not be a bad fit. They do bring the odd Frenchman over, don't they, Wakefield? He's got Mikel Seaman there already, and they've had Frenchmen there in the past.
Eleanor's played there,
So, okay, Alan Walker, he says, never saw it, but it was close though. Every minute matters on the beach, not changing to Wendy ball, NFL, cocaine ball, or any other shite. La Magique starts the season this weekend. Rugby RL all year in Catalonia. I love reading that, Alan's tweet.
Yeah, he got in touch as well, didn't he, with Ben Pomeroy back in playing for the Lesers.
There you go. Yeah. Big Ben. Okay. And Angela Coates 4. I'm a little familiar with this name.
She's been getting involved on Twitter, hasn't she? Retweeting stuff and sharing stuff. So good to get a game review in from Angela. That's great.
Angela, she says, cracking game between Wigan and Catalan. But the atmosphere was terrible. If we want to win the semi, the fans are going to have to get behind the team. # loud and proud.
It was the biggest attended game that Catalan have ever played in England. This game, over 16,000 on, thanks to the promotional push of the big one, half-price tickets, that sort of business. But when there's no away fans, it's often harder to create an atmosphere. And when you're winning at a canter, we scored in the first 2 minutes and we were ahead of the clock up until just before half-time. I don't think an atmosphere breeds off that. I'm sure we'll be
much more of an atmosphere come Friday.
I'll be ready for it, that's for sure.
Certainly. Right, final game of the weekend then saw Castleford taking on Widnes. Typical Castleford performance. We're going to score more than you, 40 points to 26. Denny Solomon got himself to 40 tries for the season, so congratulations to that young man. End of the road for them both. Get yourselves to the beach, lads. Get yourselves recovered and go again in 2017.
Yeah, and Denny Solomon's hat-trick was pretty good, actually, especially the one where he took the kick on his own try line pretty much and went full length of the field. A couple of set play involvements, one where he came inside, one where he went outside. So yeah, good stuff. Around 7 hat tricks. That's just phenomenal. Or hat tricks or better.
Yeah, it's an outstanding try scoring run this year he's been on.
Definitely.
Okay. What do the stats tell us on this one?
More metres, better average game, fewer handling errors, all led to more breaks, 10-4, and more tries, 7-5, in a game that was probably more comfortable for the home side than the final scoreline suggested it. The stats line actually read very similarly to the Wigan game stats line. I know there was a sin binning for Castleford, and that prompted outrage when there wasn't similar sin binning for Widnes. But the pressure obviously got to Jack Smith in the end because he sin binned Conor Farrell to even things up on that score. There you go. Cards this season, more cards, both more yellow cards and red cards. I think it's 6-2 on red cards. and I think it's about 3 more yellow cards have been handed out to home sides than away sides over the course of the campaign.
Right, so what does that tell
But
you?
penalties, a penalty per game, so 7.5-ish given against home sides and 8.5-ish given against away sides. So away sides are more penalised, but home sides are more likely to get a card. There you go.
Hey, interesting little quirk there. Okay. Individually, who stood out for us?
Denny Solomona, the man. 3 tries, 5 tackle busts, 166 metres, 3 clean breaks. Matt Cook starting prop again for about the 3rd week in a row and really revelling in it, really. A try, 137 metres, 2 clean breaks. Luke Dawn on his farewell appearance. And did you like the little picture he sent of the little champagne and all that? He's the greatest try scorer in Australian import in Super League history, and you've got to say,
because doff your cap to him.
Hats off to the lad. Not always playing in teams that are as good as this Cast team is either, really.
Yeah, down in London particularly, he laboured for them.
Well, and he got relegated with Salford as well.
True.
And played for a Cast team that had just got promoted and weren't really of much. In fact, they would have gone down if licensing hadn't come in as well, wouldn't they, that year? So Luke,
he's definitely going to offer a lot to the pumpkin pickers next year, isn't he?
Certainly, a try and 104 metres for him. Greg Minikin with 111 metres as well. He's done well every time he's come in, hasn't he, Minikin?
Yeah, absolutely.
For Widnes, a player who's had a great first season in Super League, Corey Thompson, 2 tries, 8 tackles, 101 metres. Connor Farrell, player whose season looked like it was over early doors and has come back to play quite well in the 8s. 2 tries, 5 tackles, 101 metres, showing what promise he's got for the future. Patrick Arvan with a try, 5 tackles, 125 metres, 2 clean breaks. And then finally, Reece Hamry with a try assist and 107 metres.
Okay. Fatboy Rob said it was a fitting send-off for Luke Dawn with a try for the man himself, yet another hat-trick from Denny and a naked run saving try for Matt Cook. All good. Paul Ludo Lewis says, got to be honest, I didn't go to this one, as with Jack's birthday this week, I thought the money would be better spent elsewhere than on an end-of-season friendly. The only reason it would have been worth going would be to witness Luke Dawn's last game, one of my favourite non-Widnes players of the past few years. With regards to the match, we kicked to Solomona and didn't defend against him properly. I mean, it's not like he's a try machine. Tyler the Cass fan, he got in touch and said this wasn't so much a rugby match, more a celebration party. We scored when we wanted and at 40 points to 10 with 10 minutes to go. Dawn had his try and Solomona had his record. It was as if we all, cast players and crowd alike, just wanted the final whistle and the party to start. Job done, 5th place and a promise of better to come next year. I certainly think that if they can keep the vast nucleus of that squad together and temper some of the injury trouble that they've had.
Yeah.
Because that's what rips the Castleford team apart, is when they have injuries. If they can have a good year without injuries, then...
They need to improve their defending from a few areas of the pitch, particularly...
Well, in an ideal world,
centres and half
yes,
area,
they do concede a lot of points. But
covering that up and seeing how well Greg Aiden will fit in. I suspect quite well, but we'll see.
Yeah, that's the big change, isn't it? Dawn out and Eden in at fullback. You would.
Yeah, and in terms of skill sets, similar players.
Yeah,
but Eden's got more mistakes in him than you'd think Dawn has in him. So it'll be interesting to see, because that might still put Cass under pressure, and they don't necessarily defend their line well consistently as their against column. I mean, they're the second best attacking side in Super League.
Yeah, and that's why I enjoy watching them.
And everyone loves watching them, but they won't be a top 4 side until they start to learn to consistently back up attack with defence.
You make a very, very strong point. I would like to argue against that, and to be honest, I find it quite tricky. I do enjoy watching them though.
Oh, everyone
great
does,
to watch, and you know, Gale and Chase next year, and I think
they've been far more enjoyable to watch than
do well.
Than St Helens or Wigan.
Exceptional player,
and it's credit to them. They've ended up finishing 5th for a second year in a row.
Yeah, absolutely. But that seems like their plateau to a point. Super League predictions: Super Brew and Dream Team. Mark, fill us in how this went.
Both of us went 7 out of 8 on our predictions this week, which was cool. Elliot Wrench takes a yellow hat in the last week of... Well, it's not the last week of Super Roo, actually, sorry, but in the last regular season round in Super Roo. So, well done to him. He was an early leader, wasn't he, if you remember? So, back to form right at the end. More importantly, Dargana stays top with a few games now to see his 3-point lead. It's unlikely to see his 3-point lead eaten into.
Yeah, congratulations, Darren.
Well, he's not won yet, because we've still got the semi-finals and the final.
Strong season so far.
But with a 3-point lead, he would have to predict all the games wrong, and the other person would have to predict them all right. And I mean, it could happen, but he's looking like he's gonna, and he knows how to tactically play these last few games to steal his crown. He showed that level of aptitude last year.
He did.
So I'm sure
who lost out in that little battle? I forget now.
Alan Bagley is triumphant in this year's Dream Team League. That has ended. Alan. A strong end to the year, though, from Stephen Bowie. A massive weekly round score of 814, which off the top of my head is probably the highest we've had.
I can't think of anything bigger.
It's certainly one of the highest we've seen all year, so well done to Stephen. He jumped up 2 or 3 places in the rankings because of that stellar performance at the end there, so well done to those guys. But Alan has ruled the roost
ever since he came in to kick our asses for us. Congratulations, Mr. Bagley. Right, let's take a look now then at some results from elsewhere in the world of rugby league. Right, into the middle eights then, round 7 of fixtures in this portion of the competition. Final game for Leeds Rhinos and Leeds Centurions, both already safe and sound in Super League for next season. They faced off to see who would lift the Bev Risman vase, I guess we'll call it. Yeah. And Leeds 37 points to 12, giving Lee a taste of what they can expect next season.
It wasn't so much of who can win it as who can nearly break the. I mean, Jamie Jones Buchanan did his best effort to drop everything all over the show.
Don't trust JJB with something that delicate, would you? That's just foolish.
It was a fine-looking crystal vase.
Certainly was.
Until it nearly ended up all over the Headingley turf. No, to be honest, it did look exactly like I would envisage this game looking in Super League.
Yeah.
With Leeds just being a little bit sharper.
Yeah.
A little bit better. A little bit more to the punch in the game, and it sort of looked like Leeds 2015 playing against, say, a Wakefield or a Hull KR 2015.
Yeah.
In that.
Yeah.
You saw the same sorts of themes. Leeds were offloading a lot. They were controlling the game. They were as physical as their opponents and didn't take any backward steps. And that's probably all promising to see from a Leeds perspective. And from Leeds' point of view, they've been celebrating anyway all week.
Yeah, of course they have.
I wouldn't read too much into this because obviously there's some big changes coming as well in the side. And I think it sort of ended the right way with Leeds topping that qualifiers segment.
Yeah.
The Leeds' points difference is like very small compared to what the Super League sides around them have managed to achieve.
Yeah.
Which just goes to show that Lee have been really good but not dominant.
Yeah,
which is what you'd expect.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing that Lee are going to look for, and I know that this game isn't a barometer of it because there will have been some big celebrations and what have you, but what you need to look for from Lee, I would say, is across the park in every aspect of the game, a 15 to 20% improvement in terms of their own quality, a bit of recruitment into an ageing pack, and some questions around the halves' ability to cope in Super League are the big sort of 3 things.
Drinkwater's a talented player, but is he good enough?
Yeah.
Ridyard is an experienced player, an organiser, but is he...
Never really cool.
We don't know, do we? It's unknown if he can take the step, but we all think he can.
Yeah, but there's got to be a reason why he hasn't done. Or maybe it's, that age-old story of kind of, the lad in the tier below who's got other interests in a business outside and can make a better living doing that, but we'll have to wait and see. But like I said, like we were talking about earlier, the recruitment of Glenn Stewart is going to be very, very important to them.
Yeah, but in terms of this game, I think the better side won.
Yeah,
and
definitely.
It does show.
Seguiera's a cheeky little boy, isn't he, as well, blowing kisses as he scores his tries.
Well, I was going to say it shows some signs of what Leeds can expect from people next year if Seguiero.
Chico, I'm looking forward so much to watching James Seguiero in this competition.
He's going to be a Man of Steel contender.
You would think so, wouldn't you? Because he's looked so good since he came in.
Especially